There are a ton of choices to make based on who to pull for in the upcoming Star Rail patch, from one of the most hyped characters we've seen in the game who manages to be a top-tier DPS whilst utilizing free characters in an interesting and unique way, to a classic erudition character who uses follow-ups to stomp over AoE content. With both of these characters having their ups and downs, it's really difficult to figure out who to pull for. So in this video I plan to try and help answer this question by going over both Firefly and Jade in full detail to potentially help you figure out who is more worth it for you. Both of these characters are pretty strong in their respective fields, which makes this video pretty hard to make, but I'll do my best to break it down. But before we get into the video, if you plan to go for Jade, Firefly or any of the other upcoming leaked characters and don't have any pulls to get them with, this is where the sponsor of this video comes in. As topping up on Genshin in Star Rail is so much more expensive than it should be, the prices are insane, the transactions are slow, and it's pretty much the fastest way to go broke and still probably lose the 50-50. Luckily, there is a way to get Genesis crystals and Oniric shards for way cheaper. Loot Bar is probably the best and most cost-effective way to get affordable top-ups for Genshin in Star Rail. Loot Bar ensures secure, lightning-fast transactions that make using it easy. If you're looking to save huge amounts of money whilst still having secure transactions, ease of use and speed, I don't think there's a better option out there. I used it to help secure my Acheron pulls and they came pretty much immediately. Topping up Genshin Impact and Star Rail on Loot Bar's website is also done through miHoYo's official route, creating a worry-free experience and a completely safe one too. It's just as simple as going on the website, looking through the discounted options, of up to 25% by the way. Choosing one, filling out minor details like your UID and server and selecting one of the wide range of payment options. Loot Bar ensures that all orders will be delivered in 30 minutes or less, but don't be surprised if your order come early like mine did. So if you're looking for the best way to top up in Genshin and Star Rail, I don't particularly see a better way to do it. New users can get 10% off. For starters, Firefly. I feel like her animations have already persuaded a lot of people, me included, but she has so much going on for her without even taking into consideration the fact that she has some of the best animations in the entire game. Firefly is a fire destruction character who plays around her ultimate, empowering her basic attacks and skills to deal massive damage. She also is one of the many Penacony characters to focus around break effect. In particular, her enhanced skill scales directly with her break effect stat, and her traces give her major rewards for building break effect such as defense ignore, leading her to have some of the highest damage per rotation in the entire game, comparable with some of the top tiers like Acheron and Bootle, whilst still being quite free to play friendly team building wise. Having her support be a free character, Harmony Trailblazer and Firefly's synergy is like Sparkle and Dan Hang's or Blade and not doing damage. Since Harmony Trailblazer's super break scales directly with the toughness, damage and attack dice, Firefly's inbuilt weakness break efficiency and her high toughness values on her skill lead Harmony Trailblazer to do insane amounts of damage every time Firefly hits the enemy, and due to her being given so much speed for free, Firefly can do this really often, and this leads to funny situations where Harmony Trailblazer looks like the real DPS in the team. Break teams aside, Firefly also has quite good crit teams too, with teams consisting of Bronya, Ruan Mei and Robin being pretty competitive with her break teams and letting her do quite insane damage numbers. Even with my fairly average build, in a team of Bronya and Mei with Huohuo as my sustain, dealing around 200,000 damage enhanced skills is pretty impressive for a character not even designed to play around crit. Doing a ton of damage whilst being versatile with team options, having a unique mechanic with amazing animations, being extremely pretty and being the best character in the game sounds like a pretty good deal to me. But obviously every character has their flaws, and Firefly's main flaw is not being here yet. I think that if Firefly was on the banner right now, she would be a much better character. In all seriousness, my main problem with her at the moment is her not having great free-to-play Lightcone options. Her signature is quite important to her damage, and since it buffs the entire team, it makes its value even higher to have. Firefly's Eidolons are also really good, with E1 and E2 in particular being so good in fact that playing E2 Firefly may feel like a different character than playing a free-to-play accessible E00 version. But if the main complaint about a character is that you have to spend money on them to make them even more broken than they already are, I don't see it being too much of an issue really. She also takes Ruan Mei in most of her teams, and she's quite a highly contested support, so that may be an issue too. Aside from that, there aren't really any major red flags I get from her at the moment. Even with me being pretty biased towards Firefly, the numbers do speak for themselves, and I think she would be a great pull for a lot of accounts. Now on to everyone's favorite debt collector. Jade is a pretty interesting concept, with her being able to function as not only a damage dealer, but a solid sub DPS too. She is a hybrid of being a Harmony and Erudition character, with her own buffs being quite strong, getting 120 crit damage and 25% attack when she fully stacks her talent for basically doing nothing but damaging the enemy. Jade is pretty special in the fact that she looks pretty much made for pure fiction, similarly to Argenti, but she also has a lot of potential to be good everywhere else. Her damage and team versatility makes her good enough to be ran in Memory of Chaos as a DPS, a sub-DPS, or even a support for characters like Blade. Jade is probably the most versatile DPS character we have ever gotten, and I think that's one of the main reasons to pull her. Her skill works similarly to Tingyun, empowering an ally and dealing additional instances of damage when the buffed target attacks. Jade can really abuse this with characters like Herta and Himeko and deal a ton of damage alongside their own, making her an extremely good character for AoE content. She can also empower herself, letting her function as a pseudo DPS, and since her basic attacks are AoE and deal fairly good damage by themselves, she can be played as a skill point positive DPS character, and due to how efficient she is SP wise, you can run really SP intensive teams with her like Bronya and Sparkle, which boosts her damage quite a lot. Jade, like I mentioned before, also has quite funny synergy with Blade, with her draining his HP allowing him use his talent more often and deal more damage. This means that these two can be used together to form a pretty good team composition. Jade's main strength comes from her versatility, as her having so many uses in so many different modes and teams makes her a jack of all trades. Her strength in pure fiction is probably going to be up there for the best, and I don't think she'll be a slouch in Memory of Chaos too. However, like all IPC characters, Jade struggles with having good light cone options, and her power level at E00 compared to E1 with her signature light cone is quite a huge one. Her damage may feel a little underwhelming provided you don't invest into her and her teams enough. Jade also doesn't really have synergy with any top tier characters at the moment. With her being limited to Mr. 8 cycles himself, it's not the best situation in the world for her, but I can see this changing over time and her pull value going up as more units get released. Overall, I think both of these characters have major strengths and weaknesses, Firefly being the stronger DPS with the better teams, whilst Jade is the more versatile pick, having full dominance over pure fiction and having the potential to get stronger over time with more units releasing. Both of these, like I said before, are great characters, and I think both of them have the potential to be strong picks for any account. I am obviously extremely biased, so you already know 10 times out of 10 I am picking Firefly over Jade, but if I wasn't, I would definitely consider picking up Jade too, as with pure fiction's difficulty increasing every patch, it wouldn't surprise me if things became too hard to just throw Herta at it and expect it to work. However, the real answer here is to just give in to your temptations and get both, and perhaps sell a few organs to afford it. Anyways, I hope this video helped with deciding who to pull, but if I'm being honest, there was never really a debate here. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.